mean, if we had an extra minute, that fight would have been ours. So it is what it is, man. Sad.
Dricus Du Plessis' coach, Morne Visser, just had a viral interview immediately after Dricus Du Plessis' loss, and a lot of MMA fans are calling this guy delusional. So I am going to react to Morne Visser's interview on the Dricus Du Plessis loss. Morne Visser, if you guys don't know him, this guy is a madman. He is known for tasing Dricus and other fighters at his gym. He's just an overall character. The guy is, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining coaches in MMA. But this guy was super confident, I should say cocky, leading into the Dricus Du Plessis Khamzat fight. So I'm interested in seeing how Morne Visser is holding up. So let's react to this interview.
He now joins me, Coach Morne Visser. Thanks for joining me a day after UFC 319, man. I'd ask how you're doing, but obviously, mood's not as high as it was planned to be.
Yeah, obviously it's hard to take like a big loss like this on the jaw. But lessons learned. I think we could have done a lot better, but I also think the ref should have done better. But you know what it's like when you lose or something doesn't go your way, you always want to blame somebody else.
You always want to blame. I love this because you would think that Morne Visser, and again, Morne Visser is my favorite coach in the UFC, pound for pound the most entertaining coach of all time. Morne Visser, this line right there would have you think that the rest of the interview is going to be completely reasonable, totally rational, and he's not going to be delusional at all, man. You always want to find something. I can't do a South African accent. You always want to find something to complain about. We got to move past it. We just got to accept the loss, man.
But I do think...
There's the smile! Yeah! There's that Morne Visser we love. There's the smile. As I said, Morne Visser is more confident than your most confident favorite fighter's confidence. Okay? Your most confident favorite fighters. You get the fucking point, dude. You get the point.
Should have just made that fight a lot more live, or a little bit more live.
What do you mean by the refs? Sorry, go on, Morne. Do you mean that you wanted to see things to be stood up more?
I mean, I could kick his ass. Yeah! More. Dude, Morne Visser is a fucking boss, bro. That's what he's about to say.
Break that down for me.
So I don't know if you... there was a stats afterwards of Khamzat landing like 570 shots or 550 shots, and only 37 of them were significant. So he just did enough to obviously control positions very, very well, and he just did enough to keep the ref not letting the fight stand up. But I think when shit goes that slow, for 20 seconds, first warning, second warning, 5 seconds later, third, 5 seconds later, stand the fight up, man.
And you know what? Eventually, Mark Goddard did. I think he should have stepped in when they were against the cage in a couple of those sequences. But either way, I think that on a couple of occasions in that fight, it should have been stood up. I think in the 5th round, when Goddard chose to stand it up, it was probably the wrong time because Khamzat was actually working. But either way, I understand the frustration. So far, this is not that delusional. Obviously, he is coping with the fact that it was a humiliating defeat for him and Dricus Du Plessis. I mean, how could you not cope? You literally have to cope with the loss. But it gets better.
That fight was smothered with boringness. And yes, we are guilty for making it boring as well. I just needed an extra minute at the end there. But yeah, I think the fight was smothered by a lot of boringness. I don't think the crowd was happy. I remember when we walked in, the crowd was...
Again, keep in mind, Dricus Du Plessis' coach thought that there was no way in hell that Dricus was about to lose this fight.
Dricus is a 5-time world champion. He got a world title in kickboxing, a double weight division in EFC, a welterweight champion at KSW, a UFC champion defending the belt for the 3rd time now. Who's got that resume? Who's got that record? Khamzat, and how does he think he's going to compare to a guy like Dricus? It's impossible.
Let alone get dominated. Let alone get made into a, again, I'm going to keep saying this, it was literally so dominant, Dricus turned into like a chicken without its legs and without its arms on a roast. It was bad.
It's booing DDP, and like 3 minutes into the fight, they were all booing Khamzat for just holding Dricus down. So, but fuck, man, he does a good job with that. He's very good at his wrestling. Hats off to him.
Yeah, it's tough as well, right? Because when you're in those dominating positions, I'm just not sure if you could really, I don't know if you could really be stood up. Let me ask you this. In between the rounds, after the first round and the second round, what were you guys thinking? Are there any adjustments that you were trying to make? Because we couldn't really hear what you were saying to Dricus in between the rounds.
So after the first round, the very first thing I asked Dricus was he okay? Wasn't tired. Obviously, with trying to fight somebody who wrestles that hard, your arms pump up quickly. He was 100% okay, and we actually laughed about it, me and him in the corner, because I said to him, "Okay, this is the best he's got. That he just showed us what he can do, and he's going to keep on trying to do that." And I just didn't think that he will try to do that for 5 rounds. So,
I mean, listen, I understand what he sort of means by that, but like, come on, man. Come on. Like, maybe it would make more sense if he said something along the lines of, I didn't think he was capable of doing that for 5 more rounds. But to say, I didn't think he would want to do that for 5 more rounds, why wouldn't he? Why would he change what's already worked like a charm in the first round? Why would he have any different approach? It's not like, oh, Khamzat just controlled him on the ground. Now he's going to opt to strike. And then the next round, he's going to try to take the back. And if he can't get the back, it's brawling central. No. Khamzat had success in the first round, and it just rinse and repeat the whole thing. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. He should not have been expected to do anything else other than maybe posture up a little bit more to land more damaging shots, push for a finish here and there. But, I mean, Khamzat's going to do the same thing if he has a round like that easy, without having to drain his gas tank much. He's going to continue to do the same thing.
We were communicating between the rounds. I think after the third, I said to Dricus, okay, we are 3 down now. Do you want to take him down? And he said to me, Coach, he's too wet, too slippery. And look, we've learned a lot. Lot to go back to. I've been asked, do you want to do a rematch? I said, absolutely not.
You know what? I respect that. I respect that. I'm sorry. I can't help myself but laugh. Because, like, the level of confidence Dricus and his team had was insane before this fight.
Dricus is a 5-time world champion.
They had a lot of confidence. I don't think they were delusional, but they had a lot of confidence. And to see the change in tone, the contrast of it all before and after the fight based on just how bad of a performance it was for them, it's just insane to see. Like, it's just night and day different. But yeah, I'm not going for that rematch anytime soon if I'm Dricus Du Plessis. He is so far behind. The only thing I think he could do to actually have a chance against Khamzat in the future is if he works specifics with Craig Jones for years on end. I mean, you have to have someone like Craig Jones in your corner. I mean, you could have other high-level BJJ guys, but something that Craig Jones is doing has clearly worked before. It worked for Alexander Volkanovski. It's working for Jack Della Maddalena. So the Craig Jones factor is actually massive. And Dricus Du Plessis needs to train with Craig Jones. Like, that is the only thing he should be focusing on from here on out when it comes to fighting Khamzat Chimaev in the future, maybe getting that one back.
Obviously, we would like to fight him very soon again, but there's no way I'll take a rematch with us being a little bit behind in our Russian style of wrestling. That is what it is, nothing else. He just knows how to control you on the floor. I mean, if you look at when Dricus punched him, he just wobbled. When Dricus kicked him, he wobbled.
He wobbled. When Dricus punched him, he wobbled. When he teeped him, he crumbled. And we had him every single moment on the feet. We were destroying him on the feet. All 30 seconds of every striking exchange in the 25-minute fight. He was just wobbling.
That's why I went straight for shooting.
Let's be honest, he wasn't just going straight for shooting because he was getting cracked on the feet. It was also because he realized just how little of a fight Dricus could put up on the ground after the first round, that, you know, why take any other path? Take the path of least resistance where you know you're going to dominate, and Dricus has no ability to get up to his feet. So I don't think it's one of those things where he was shooting panic takedowns. Khamzat Chimaev, if he was the kind of guy to go out there and strike for 3 minutes in the first round of every fight and then shoot, maybe you could make that argument. But Khamzat always goes out there as soon as the fight starts and shoots a takedown. And because it worked so well for him in the first round, and Dricus, again, had literally nothing for him, less than Usman, less than Burns, why would he test anything on the feet? So that's why all the striking exchanges were like 10 seconds max. But yeah, Dricus did catch him a couple of times with big shots. But Khamzat clearly was not really looking to strike at all.
And when you look at submission attempts and almost landed, was done by Dricus, not by Khamzat. Khamzat was doing one thing. That's keeping the fight on the floor and make sure that the ref doesn't stand it up. That's all he did, nothing else. So we had the more submission attempts and almost success. Obviously the stand-up, we dominated him.
Dominate, you know, listen, they definitely got the better of Khamzat in the stand-up, but because the stand-up, if you were to actually tally up all the minutes in which they had any striking exchanges, not just on the feet, but striking exchanges, there was probably a minute in the entire fight. Okay? And Khamzat landed a couple of shots here and there, but again, Khamzat wasn't looking to strike. He was biding time. Dricus was desperately trying to gun him down. So I wouldn't look too deeply into that. I think that obviously Dricus Du Plessis is the better striker. I don't think Khamzat would have outstruck him, but to dominate him on the feet when you've gotten dominated for 24 minutes on the ground, it just doesn't mean anything.
We've got to fix our shit ASAP, and I know what to do. I know exactly what to do.
I hope he means Craig Jones, because listen, Morne Vissers, if he knows exactly what to do now, maybe it's just fighting out of those crucifix positions, but I don't know, man. If I'm Dricus Du Plessis, I'm not really super confident in Morne Vissers' preparation and training camp style to get ready for Khamzat again. I think you need to bring someone new in. Now, that's not to say that you should ditch Morne Vissers. Morne Vissers is his head coach. He knows Dricus, and I'm not saying you leave your head coach. I'm not saying Morne Vissers is a bad coach. I'm just saying you got to take drastic measures. If you are beaten in a drastic, terrible, humiliating way, you must bring Craig Jones in. You must bring him in. And some people are going to say, you're a casual. It's just Craig Jones. There's a million other jiu-jitsu guys. No. Craig Jones has a system that works against these Dagestani, Chechnyan type of grapplers. You got to bring in someone like that.
Way to do it. It's a big change for us, a big move. We're going to have to make a big move here to fix things. But, I mean, if we had an extra minute, that fight would have been ours. So it is what it is, man. Sad.
A little bit of cope right there. I don't know if that's the case, guys. I don't know if that's the case. And also, didn't Dricus Du Plessis fumble top position? Or no, I guess he may have ended up on top of Khamzat at the end of round 5, but I don't know, man. Like, Dricus didn't look like he was anywhere that close to a finish. I know he almost got a rear naked, but it wasn't really that fucking close. Khamzat easily defended it. He probably wouldn't have got the finish. And that's just not how the sport works. The sport is not, well, whoever had a dominant position, if you just gave us a couple of extra minutes in the round and had that round be 8 minutes, we would have gotten the finish. Well, you have 5 minutes and that's it.
Did the UFC ask you guys about an immediate rematch? Is that what you mean? Someone asked you if you guys were interested?
No. Everybody asked me afterwards.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to ask for it.
All the Dricus Du Plessis inner circle people, I'm sure friends, family, they were all saying, we'll get him back. Rematch. Demand the rematch. He's defended his belt. And Morne Vissers was sitting there like, we can't do the rematch. He had a big swallow moment and had to let him know, guys, we're going to get turned into a rotisserie chicken again. If we do this rematch right after this, we need to improve drastically. Like, this is not some bullshit game where you'll get him back, man. You'll get him back. Let's have. Like, I saw this video of Dricus Du Plessis partying, drinking after, and it's like, hey, man, you just had a tough training camp. Why not? But there were some weird vibes. Like, Dricus Du Plessis looked a little bit shaken up. I would imagine, he's got a bunch of people around him right now. They're just like, man, you're the champ, man. You're the champ. You're going back, man. Like, I don't know. I don't think he'll ever get him back, period. Even if he does work with Craig Jones, he'll probably never get it back. But the point is, Morne Vissers is at least smart enough to realize, like, no, we can't do the rematch. We would rather fight Francis Ngannou right now than fight Khamzat Chimaev in a rematch right now.
We deserve it. I said, no, man, you don't deserve a rematch after you've been dominated that badly on the floor. If it was a close call.
You know what, dude? Morne Visser, he's speaking a lot of truth.
Close fight. Yeah, maybe. But even if they did ask me, and it wasn't close at all, we need to work on, so we've practiced everything except a crucifix. And there's this a way that he trapped the arm very high, almost trapped the bicep, tricep, and the shoulder with that crucifix. So it feels like you've got movement, but so you can give the one arm up to roll the other one out or roll in and back out, but he just doesn't allow it. He's just so tight with it. Plus he's tall, so he really opened Dricus up. And then all those little punches didn't mean a lot, but obviously, like I said, meant a lot or enough for the ref to keep the fight down. So, no, I won't take a rematch. A few things need to happen for us. Dricus didn't take any damage, stitches on his jaw, a couple of stitches on his jaw, but nothing serious. 570 bee stings, that's what it was. Really no punishment.
Dricus's face actually does look very swollen. Really, if you guys haven't seen him since the fight, he had a very swollen face. Obviously, he didn't take a lot of concussive damage, but those little noogie punches are annoying. That's why they kind of clown me for saying things like Volkanovski against Makhachev in the first fight where Makhachev took Volk's back and Volkanovski was yelling at him and popping him. It's like, dude, those punches, those are some bee sting kind of punches, man. You're getting stung. You're getting stung up. Okay, you're getting done up and you're getting stung up. So you got to respect those little noogie punches a little bit, right? Because it's like, just imagine someone just, taking their hand right like this and just smashing your nose like that from this distance. They can't wind up that much, but just from this distance, that shit is fucking annoying. No, you're not going to get seriously hurt, but dude, your face is going to get swollen up if you get hit by 500 of those.
It's sad to lose like that. I would have not mind if it was a proper brawl, and then you lose with unanimously when there was a proper brawl. There was nothing.
It's crazy because one day you guys are on top of the world, right? And now you're dealing with some negativity from fans and this kind of fight where you mentioned it, you would have preferred for it to maybe go a different way. Mentally, how is Dricus doing? Because mentally, that is one of his strengths, right? He had a great deal of, he handled the loss very respectfully. He showed a lot of, the way that he spoke about after the fight, he was very positive. He seemed like he understood what went wrong. Mentally, what is the road to sort of coming back for Dricus after this loss? Because we've seen some champions struggle to come back after losses like this. For those people that think that this might be it for Dricus, what is your message to them?
This is really personal for Dricus and me. We are very possibly the worst losers. And I always ask people when they want to join my team, even guys from abroad, when they want to come and train in my gym, I ask them, how do you feel about losing? And when they say stupid things like, Yeah, it happens, so you've got to take it when it comes your way, and you've got to be a good loser. I said, sorry, man, this gym is not for you. I fucking hate losing. And
Dude, that's so funny, dude. That's so funny. I could just imagine Dricus being like so bummed out after the fight, so down. He's probably got his face in his palms, face palming like this. And Morne Visser comes in with a fucking baseball bat and just starts destroying the locker room, dude. Morne Visser, again, more confident than Dricus. He is cockier than anyone you know. And every emotion that the most emotional person could be feeling, Morne Visser feels 10 times that. Okay, so you gotta respect Morne Visser, because this dude, when he says he hates losing, like, dude, you gotta know. I guarantee you, the arena that hosted the UFC, they probably have a locker room that was destroyed by Morne Visser and a baseball bat after that. So I do not doubt him for a second. Morne Visser is the realest guy of all time, man. He says it how it is. And I do not want to get in this guy's way. Okay? And if you take a loss and you're Morne Visser's if you take a loss and you're Morne Visser's fighter, Morne Visser's the kind of guy to fucking beat you over the head with a... He's the kind of guy to beat you over the head with a baseball bat if you aren't more angry than he is. And Dricus probably knows that. Dricus probably just wanted to, like, you know, sit in silence. He was pissed, maybe brewing a little bit with frustration. I bet when Morne Visser walked in with the baseball bat, Dricus Du Plessis got up and started throwing hammers at the wall. Dricus probably punched a hole through a wall so Morne Visser wouldn't target his rage at Dricus. Because, again, you got to be angry. You got to pretend you're angry like Moors. Okay? I keep calling him Moors. You got to pretend you're angry like Morne. Otherwise, dude, you're getting fucked up. You're getting absolutely fucked up. So, dude, I understand it. Morne Visser's... He's a serious guy. You don't want to fuck with him.
And Dricus hates losing. So,
but you know what? Dricus definitely hates losing too. 100%. Because Dricus and Morne Visser are on like the exact same vibe. They are on the exact same vibe. 100%. That's why when Morne Visser says we, you know he means it. And you can't argue with it. We lost. Okay? We didn't do that. It's a we with him and Dricus. Like, dude, these guys think the same. So I don't even know if Dricus bullshits with the way that he lost, but Dricus is probably a little bit more chill with it. Morne Visser, he sort of strikes me as a guy that'll beat you over the head with a baseball bat if you lose a fight, dude.
His mindset.
Morne Visser is tasing people in the gym. Imagine losing a fight, dude. If you fuck up in the gym, you're getting tased. Although, to be honest, I don't know the specifics. Maybe that's when you make a stupid, careless decision, or you quit and you wilt and you show weakness. Maybe if you just get put in a bad position, that's not going to happen. But either way.
He's just, we're getting back. We're getting back. As soon as you won't even realize, he's going to take a week off, and we've got big plans. I've started already last night and this morning with our next big move, our plans to change and fix the problem.
More grit.
My head, Dricus' head is, we're taking the belt back. That's it. I'm not going to, that belt comes back to us because, and I don't want to, look, it's MMA. You've got to be, if you want to be the greatest in a weight division, the best in a weight division, you've got to be able to be the best grappler, be the best wrestler, all the different wrestling styles, all the different stand-up styles, all the different grappling styles. You've got to be the best at it. And last night we were not the best on that style of wrestling. So our wrestling is good, but not for that. So not even close good enough for that.
So again, you can't call him totally delusional, right? But it's just interesting to get the Morne update. I keep calling him Moors. It's interesting to get the Morne update. Because Morne Visser is, as I said, probably the best coach in MMA, just as far as the entertainment goes. And, you know, obviously, no disrespect, he's probably a great coach as well. But I'm just saying, like, most entertaining coach of all time, probably.
I know exactly what to do. Already on the plan of fixing it. So there's nothing else. Dricus wants his belt back more than he wanted to get the belt in the first time. That's that's his mindset.
The mindset of a winner.
I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm already busy with get guys that does it like Khamzat do or better. Where Dricus is gonna have to work.
I don't think a single person does it better than Khamzat. That's the problem. Khamzat Chimaev is the best at doing it, right? It's not just technique. It's not only technique. It's technique paired with the strength, paired with the pace, paired with everything, okay? If it was just about technique, then obviously some fucking jiu-jitsu nerd would be middleweight champ. But it's Khamzat Chimaev, strong as fuck, explosive, fast, quick with his technique. That's another thing. You got some guys that are technical, but they're slow to do everything. I don't think there's a single person better than Khamzat on the ground. And what? The jiu-jitsu community is going to say, well, actually, Burt Miller. Yeah. Fucking nerd Burt Miller. Some name I just made up. Yeah. I'm sure Burt Miller would get absolutely fucking destroyed on the ground by a real grappler. Okay? You know what? The jiu-jitsu world, there are less professional jiu-jitsu submission. I can't even call them fighters. There are less pro jiu-jitsu people than there are MMA fighters. The MMA talent pool is deeper. It's larger. Khamzat Chimaev, the best grappler in upper weight class history in MMA. That dude is probably the best grappler on the planet in upper weight classes, period. Okay? Period. I don't care about your freaking Olympic wrestler, no, because you don't understand. This guy is the Olympic. I don't care if he's the Olympic what? Taking people down in the Olympics with shoes on, freestyle wrestling. He doesn't have the jiu-jitsu with the wrestling that Khamzat has. And then on the other side, it's like what, some jiu-jitsu guy with no wrestling defense? Good luck. Good fucking luck. Okay? Khamzat Chimaev is the rare breed that has insanely good wrestling and insanely good jiu-jitsu. He may not have the best wrestling on the planet. He may not have the best jiu-jitsu on the planet, but he's the best grappler on the planet, and he's Khamzat Chimaev built different. So, even if Dricus were to work with people that are really solid, even Craig Jones, I'm sure he could do a lot better if he works with Craig Jones. He'll still probably lose, though, right?
For 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exchanges to get out, but does not stop. Khamzat, we've tried, and if you relook at the fight, Dricus tried once, got stopped. Tried once, maybe twice, got stopped. Reset, try again. Reset, try again. We need a lot more than that. We need 4, 5, 6 times, 3, 4, 5 times, 3, 4, 5 times. We need to get the guy who's on your back, Khamzat, to work a lot harder to keep you down. And, how do you learn that? You can only learn that from losing like we did. When we trained for it, we had just success. So I thought we were ready. We had success. Nobody could guillotine. Khamzat tried. Nobody could guillotine or dodge or rear naked.
But, it's not just getting out of these positions. It's also just getting taken down. Like Dricus Du Plessis' takedown defense. Because, again, he's talking a lot about we got to get out of these bad positions. Crucifix, half guard, whatever. We got to get out of these positions. Body lock up against the cage. Dricus couldn't stop the takedown either. So it's like, even if they weren't training some of these positions, like crucifix, for example, even if they weren't training that, they were training sprawling takedowns. They were training stopping being taken down to the mat. And Dricus showed no ability to do that. I believe on the stats, he may have stuffed a takedown or two, but watching the fight, let's just be fucking honest. Like, I don't give a shit about what the stats say. Every single time Khamzat tried to take him down, he got him down. The stats are wrong. Khamzat took Dricus down every single attempt. And Dricus, the only time he really put up a decent scramble was the first takedown shot that Khamzat had, where he almost like reversed the position on the ground and Khamzat still wound up on top. Like, if he gets better at these positions, like, okay, he might be able to get up, but maybe still not, and he's still going to get taken down to begin with. Dricus will not have opportunities to, like, beat Khamzat up on the feet because his takedown defense isn't there either. It's not just the grappling jiu-jitsu. It's like, the takedown defense. So I just don't see Dricus ever beating Khamzat, unfortunately, man. I love Dricus Du Plessis. I like his style. I wanted him to be champ, but I don't see him ever closing that gap. And The only way I see Dricus getting the belt back, if I'm being honest, is if Khamzat Chimaev vacates the middleweight belt to move up to 205 or to move down to 170 pounds. That's the only way I see Dricus getting it back.
Anything, Dricus. I would put all those submissions fully on, and he would get out. And Khamzat tried last night. Never got one of those submissions on. Not one. Not even close. And but what he did so well was he stayed on Dricus like a fucking blanket. So I'm looking for blankets. I'm looking for guys. A lot of blankets around the world.
Dude, that's funny as hell, man. But it's so true. It's so true.
It's gonna help us to get those blankets off us. So I realized and I recognized the mistakes.
And Khamzat fanboys are gonna be seething. Blanket? Oh, how dare you say he was a blanket? He was an absolute marauder the whole time. He was destroying him. Stop discrediting Khamzat by saying he was just throwing these little pillow punches like he was. I'm so sick of that narrative that it wasn't boring at all. Like, obviously it was fucking boring. If you're trying to argue that it wasn't boring and you're a casual if you think that, how? If Khamzat is in those positions and not really trying to transition into anything new, posture up to land ground and pound, look for a finish, especially in contrast to what he normally does, which is why we call him one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC. This was a far cry from that. Again, if this is not boring, then what is? Now, I'm not saying this is the most boring performance. There are plenty of striking battles that I thought are more boring than this. And part of that has to do with the fact that to see Khamzat control a fighter as good as Dricus, as strong as Dricus, is actually pretty crazy. So that in and of itself makes it entertaining in a way, 100%, because he's doing this to Dricus. He's little broing Dricus Du Plessis, which is just insane. But still, if you call a performance like this exciting, what would you call Gaethje versus Michael Chandler? Or what would you call, for example, Yuri Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira? What would you call Khabib versus Conor, where there was grappling in that fight, plenty of it, but Khabib Nurmagomedov was raining down fury. So again, okay, you're going to say that this was super entertaining? Well, what about Khamzat and Conor? That's not as entertaining as Yuri and Glover, but it's super entertaining. Are we going to say that's extraordinarily entertaining? Okay, then what do you say about Chandler Gaethje? And then what do you say about Yuri Glover? You're going to have to make something up, or what? Words can't even describe it. So, I don't know. I don't know if I totally agree with that, that you must find this fight to be entertaining. Otherwise, you're exposing yourself as a casual. Or I've also heard people saying things along the lines of, isn't it interesting how it's only Dricus Du Plessis fans that thought this was boring? It's like, you know what? I'm a fan of Khamzat too, and I can recognize that although that performance was insanely impressive, like, yeah, it was a little bit boring as well. You know what? Dricus's coach, people are saying he is delusional, and he's here saying I'm one of the worst losers in the world. Same with Dricus Du Plessis, and normally you would think, well, they're not good losers. That means they're coping. That means they're delusional. They're in denial. To be honest, after listening to this interview, I don't think this is a guy in denial. I was expecting to go into this interview hearing Morne Visser be extremely delusional and say things that are just batshit crazy, false. How could you think that? No way in hell you believe that. Like, he's being honest. The only thing that I think people are really upset about is the fact that he said that the fight should have been stood up, and the fact that he was a little bit frustrated at times because it was boring. But he is being honest, and he is admitting, like, yeah, we were screwed. We had nothing in that fight. We had nothing for him. And I don't even want to fight him next. We need a lot of time, although he technically at the end of the interview only said, 4 weeks or 4 months, my bad. But still, he's admitting that they're not ready for Khamzat anytime soon and that they need to get a lot better. And that's why he doesn't want a rematch right now, because he knows they'll lose, which is very realistic. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time.